Hello everyone, this is Diane. Welcome back to my channel and to my pretty pink cottage, and welcome to this flip through of these two journals with a windows and doors theme. I had said previously that I was going to try again to list or to reserve one journal if I'm making multiples in one style, that I would reserve one journal. And we'll try that again. The one of the issues was getting a hold of someone once they were completed. So we'll talk about that later at another time. But so we're trying it, and so this blue one here is reserved for someone. I will flip through it, but I'll do this one first. They are almost identical inside, but there are a few differences. They are both made with these pressboard vintage file dividers. So they're very heavy, sturdy folders. And they have the metal tabs on them, which are pretty awesome. So this one still has the original. So it just has an acetate over it. And it just has the letter P, which is cool because I chose the word portals. This one did not have its original piece in there, and I chose the word portals, which could stand for both windows and doors. So that could be P for portal, I guess. But anyway, it's just a cool vintage file divider. I used several digitals. This is from My Porch Prints, and you'll see these pretty doors in this size and in a littler size. So this is called Adorable Doors from My Porch Prints. I did some embossing on the file folder. I have a large background stamp with the wood grain on it. So I embossed that with a brown Tim Holtz Distressing Glaze. Yeah, I guess that's what it's called. And then there's a piece of vintage wallpaper here because there was some printing on the folder that showed a little bit. I used this fabric sample piece on the spine and then added the little bits of lace. You'll notice that the front cover is green and this is blue. That's because those were the file folder pieces that I had left. But there's a large metal ring on this tab. This is what the little rod in the bottom of the file drawer would go through to keep the folders in place. And I put a ball chain through that with a couple of keys for opening your doors. Let's look through it. There are 3 signatures. The spine, by the way, was created with a flexible file folder, so it's soft and squishy. And it helps it lay flatter. Okay, so on the inside there are 3 signatures, and this is the first signature. I copy dyed some scrapbook papers, and this is one of the My Porch Prints. This is a card from the digital kit that I used. The pages are with this kit, and it's called Window Garden, and it is from Junk Journal Mama on Etsy. I had another wood grain stamp, narrower boards, and it's horizontal instead of vertical, which worked really well on the smaller tag. And then I colored this. There's a video showing how I did that, and just added the key and some seam binding. And there's another journal or digital kit that has house numbers. So I had a lot of fun using them throughout the journal. Whenever you see a number, they're in lots of different styles, but they're from the house numbers kit, and I'll try to remember to link that. There's one of them there too. I stamped behind it. I had this house stamp, and there are a lot of tabs made of fabrics and trims, laces. I think there's 4 tabs in each signature. Yeah, so 12 tabs. I think there are Oh, I forgot now. Let's count the pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pages in each signature, so 36 pages front and back times 3 for the 3 signatures. This is a vintage sheet, this tab up here. One of the Junk Journal Mama printable pieces, and this is just some paper that I had dyed, a leftover piece, and I put that in there. There are lined or blank pages, decorated, but with room for writing on the back of each of the digitals. Here's just a piece of graph paper, another copy dyed scrapbook paper, and I cut some words from a vintage dictionary. So this is a knocker, and this says scene because you see scenery through your window. And this little card I just attached to a leftover strip of copy dyed paper. And here is a smaller version of one of those doors. So the scrapbook paper I chose either resembled a wall, so there's a pretty color of green, aqua, brick there, and these weathered and painted boards, or it might resemble wallpaper. This was a page we did in a video, one of the videos that I did. I wanted to cover up this side. This side has a window on it. So you can go back and watch the video, but there's a cross-stitch pattern chart here in green. I love it. And I slow stitched the flap down. And I just created a pocket using one of the Mrs. Coggs image. Mrs. Coggs is the other digital kit that I used, The Wisdom of Doors. And there's a quote on each of hers. There is always one moment in childhood when the door opens and lets the future in. Graham Greene. I added this embroidered ribbon up here, and then just to tuck inside it, I took a full sheet of green coffee dyed paper and tucked it in there. Lots of journaling space in this journal. So here I just added washi tape and this little bit of collage. This is a stamped piece. Here's another definition for a knob, and of course there's a doorknob. I have this stamp. I love that stamp. Fabric flip with some houses on it, which of course contain windows and doors. This is wallpaper. Another of Junk Journal Mama pages. And this is a little strip of a textured wallpaper there. Here I created a pocket, and I used scraps for this pocket, for that, and then this little printed piece I tore. And a house number and one of my little metal pieces I glued there. Here we have a Mrs. Coggs image, Be an Opener of Doors, Ralph Waldo Emerson. I love the colors of this image. I just added a little fabric cluster, and it's sewn to a piece of dyed paper. This is one of the papers I dyed with coffee. Dyed it with coffee and then sprinkled some salt on it while it was still wet to give that speckled look. Here's just a variety of keys falling down the page there. There's one of the tabs. And the other side of that book page I wanted to cover, so I put on a piece of leftover digital. It's a wallpaper. It's a Sears wallpaper and a Mrs. Coggs. Happiness often sneaks in through a door you didn't know you left open. John Barrymore. These are copy dyed index cards. I stamped houses on them, sewed around them, and added some tabs. And this is a little bonus page because it was wrapped around. Where's that page? Right here. It's this piece. This is glued down as a pocket, But this wrapped around and I left it loose. So you get a little bonus page in this journal, in this signature, I mean. There's a little cluster. I used some of the little tiny clusters that I received in a Happy Mail not too long ago, and I can't remember who it was that sent them. I was going to go back and look at my Happy Mail videos, but I didn't do that. So I apologize, but I absolutely love these tiny little clusters that she sent me. I'll point them out to you. You will love them. And I stamped "Love Makes a House a Home." And on this side is a little envelope that came with the Junk Journal Mama kit. And there is a tag in there. This was a larger Mrs. Cog card, and it was the only one I had left, and I needed to make it fit in this envelope. So I trimmed it and I cut off the quote and just glued it on top. If I can't make it through one door, I'll go through another door, or I'll make a door. Something terrific will come no matter how dark the present. And I don't know how to pronounce that name. And it's a pretty envelope that came with the kit, with that window with shutters and geraniums in the windowsill. I took two of the little cards with looking out on a country scene through a window, and I just made little pockets out of them. There's another house number on that brick, and this is made with a piece of this. Each of these file cards, the dividers, had this for the letter tab, and then the other end of it had, the other side of it had the little circle to go through, for the rod to go through. So that was the leftover piece, and I made a pocket out of it with some vintage lace, more geraniums in the window, and this card. This image was used by Mrs. Cog and by Elizabeth in her Junk Journal Mama kit with the blue door and the blue shutters. The door of the human heart can only be opened from the inside. Here's the second signature, and this is a painted wall. Looks like a stone wall with the paint coming off. I used that brick house number there. And there's brick around this door with the paint coming off. And there's the tag I used. It's got a little key. There's another house that I stamped. This is one of her, it could be cut out into a journal card, but it was all white around it. So I just fussy cut it and made it into a pocket. This is a scrap of wallpaper. This is, I don't know what kind of paper this is, but it has this graph on it. It had some other graphy looking things on it. So it's really cool paper. This one has a cathedral. I think it might be Notre Dame, but it's got lots of gorgeous windows. And I put a glassine envelope on it so you could still see the image, and added this little card tucked in, and it forms a pocket, and I added this Mrs. Cog's image with a revolving door. All great deeds and all great thoughts have a ridiculous beginning. Great works are often born on a street corner or a restaurant's revolving door. Albert Camus. There's a dictionary definition with a little drawing of a dormer window, and over here is a page from a vintage house plan book, and it says Cozy Dormer Windows. And I stamped this piece here, and I had a hard time figuring out if this was 28 or 87. And I could have looked in my digital files to see how it was, you know, with everything else, how it was laid out. That would show me. But instead of doing that, I decided I liked it like that. It looked better that way, so it's 28. And on this side, I reinforced this page with scrapbook paper. You'll see it continues on the other side, and I just added that little fussy cut. Here I have a pretty old Stampin' Up! Stamp of a heart-shaped lock and this key. I bought a whole set of Stampin' Up! Stamps that featured keys and different lock things. So they came in handy for this book. Here's a fabric flip and a spot to write. There's a wallpaper. Another one of the pockets with the torn paper. This is one of the artisan papers that feels like a handmade paper. And I added another metal element there. And this piece, shut the door, they're coming through the window. Shut the window, they're coming through the door. And I just added a little strip of a printed bias tape there. Here's the other side of that paper that reinforced the page, and I covered that whole page up with a couple pieces of paper and a couple of digitals, and this is a pocket. Often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one that has been opened for us. Helen Keller. And this I just glued to a strip of leftover paper from a different project. There's the house plan book. I added a spot for journaling and a little bit of collage there. So there's the Notre Dame page, and it looks like it's got postcards all over it. It's a pretty cool page. Here's another one of the fabric clusters. It's so beautiful with a tiny little button. She hand stitched them. Now this one is machine stitched right across there. But most of them were put together with glue and hand stitching. The button holds it together also. Here's another little pocket with just a scrap and a little round tag, I mean. And another envelope. This one was just plain on the back, so I added that, one of her journal cards. And we have a little door and a card. However much you knock at nature's door, she will never answer you in comprehensible words. Ivan Turgenev. There's a lot of blue doors. I love the colors, blue doors and the green shutters. Lots of pretty colors in this, in her Wisdom of Doors kit. Another little pocket. This one has a scrap of coffee dyed paper in it. And this is made with another piece of the file folder, the thick file folder. We did these collages in a video. And this says, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. Milton Berle. Look at that. All of these books. That's amazing. Look at that gorgeous door. And here is the card with the key. This is a coffee dyed paper that got left in the oven a little too long, so it had some crispy parts, but I cut off one of the good sections. It is a little brittle. It cracked there when I folded it, but it is yours for journaling on. Here's that page I said was used by both Mrs. Cogg and Elizabeth. So there's the side with the shutters. And I took the title off of one of the printable pages to put there. And I meant to put this on as a tab. I didn't hang it off as much as I intended to, but I had thought maybe I could make it into a pocket. So I guess I focused more on pocket size than tab, which works out good because I tucked a couple of tags in there. There's a stone arched door from a magazine, and I just added some scrapbook paper there. Covered up the other side with scrapbook papers. I edge punched this one. This is wallpaper with some writing spots on it. I love this fabric with the windows. There's books in the window boxes, and this girl sitting in the window seat reading. There's some, I guess they're geraniums in the window. Yeah, they are. And another pocket with a metal piece. This one says, "Knowledge of what is does not open the door directly to what should be." Albert Einstein. And some keys going down there. There's a lock here in the middle. And the definition for doorway. And on this side, this is the book page with the stone arch door, and I wanted to cover this side, so I used scrapbook paper and made a pocket here. Got an index card, and this says, "A clever, imaginative, humorous request can open closed doors and closed minds." Those dogs are waiting for somebody to open that door. Couple more definition pockets for window box, window pane, and window. And there's another of those fabric clusters, and there is hand stitching across the ruffled up seam binding there. There's the blue door. One more pocket here with a door in it. And another pocket here. And on the last page is a door I cut from a printable that I had. A building with windows and doors. And this says, "Big doors swing on little hinges." W. Clement Stone. On the back, I added this pocket. This has been in my stash for a while. It is a cardstock with a napkin and lace. And then this tag was also in my stash. There are birds here. This is like a scene you would see through your window. And this little tag has nests and eggs. I think it's like an image of a vintage book cover. So I added that to go with the birds here. And it is tied with this pretty blue, aqua seam binding. Now if you want to see Mary Ann's book, it says portals, as I said. I stamped that word, and it's got a blue cover with this different door. So the doors, all of these doors are different in both journals. Mrs. Coggs and the Junk Journal Mama, I printed those cards twice, so they all have the same cards as pockets and tuck spots, or cards. There's a blue printed fabric there. And this one has, the hole is higher up on it, and it's got a key and a lock. So this I'll flip through more quickly, because even the cards on the tags, they're all the same as what was in the other book, but these doors are all different. And the house numbers are all different. And the definitions are different. This says view, and this says scenery and scenic. So some of the cards are attached to folded up strips of paper for journaling, as you probably noticed in the other book. It says door. I am going to cut these ends. Wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I decided to trim them short, and I had already done that in the other book. I think I stamped on these. Yes, I did. Here's another of the clusters. She sewed all around that white piece and then did a little X in the center with her embroidery floss. Aren't they so cute? Tiny little clusters. I love them. I put one in each signature, but I wanted to preserve some for other projects too. I had this in my stash. It was just a tag cut with my Cricut that cut. I have a cartridge that cuts a lot of unique shapes for tags, and I just cut that from a file folder. It had some printing on it there, so I covered that with washi tape. I think we saw the big version of that one. This one has some pennants that I stamped on, which is fun. And again, I put a piece of scrapbook paper across the fold of this paper because it's fragile. Here's the other side of that scrapbook paper, and there's a fussy cut flower there, and then this says tessellated wood floors. That is a digital. Often we look so long at the closed door. Oh yeah, we read all of those in the other one. And I just added a strip of leftover digital paper here from a different project. This is a page with gingham curtains at the window. I think all these pages are different too. I just had the cards printed twice. I had a lot of fun doing kind of collage-y layered looks on a lot of the pages. So on that page and on these pockets, this says doorstep. And I love this one. This is my favorite one. Whoops, sorry. I love the colors. There's fabric and lace and another fabric. I thought it was seam binding, but it's not. It's like a satiny fabric. And it's got this button, and this must have been hard to do, but she put a variety of colors of embroidery floss through the buttonholes and tied it and made it look like a tassel. It's so adorable. I love it. This little pocket has a blue tag to match the shutters and this little accordion folded strip. This just has a folded leftover paper in there. Just a beautiful window with a bluebird or a blue jay down here. Opportunity, because you know opportunity knocks, and knock. There's another stone door. Wallpaper. vista, because that is what we see outside of our windows, the view. And another cluster, and there's some little rows of slow stitching there. And here's another tag that was in my stash. It's got wallpaper pieces and a music sheet with modeling paste through a stencil. Got my signature on the back. This is a pocket that I made with just, I sewed some little leftover strips onto file folder and then cut it up. And this is one of Nancy's little button flowers that I purchased from her a while back. Nancy from Wishes and Weeds. I just placed an order with Nancy from Wishes and Weeds. I'm not going to tell you what I ordered, but when I get it, I will show it to you. I just ordered it yesterday. I didn't mean to, but I couldn't help it. So, when you see this video, I'm thinking the video will be up on Monday. Today's Sunday afternoon. So I think I'll put it up tomorrow, and I'm going to list this journal in my shop at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, the day you see this video. And this will just go in there for Mary Ann whenever she wants it. So there we go. Thank you for watching. I really enjoyed making these fun journals, and I'm looking forward to the next project, whichever that will be. I have a choice of 2 to make next, so I'll decide and then we'll get to work on it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Have a creative day today. Bye-bye.